Hi, I am the member of opposition for today's debate topic. The United States federal government should make voting online an option in all general elections by the year 2024. The first thing I want to do is talk to you and remind you guys a little bit about some of the negatives that were discussed earlier. So the first thing would be that voting at polls would boost the economy because people are out and about buying things like snacks and coffee or gas because they're out driving and waiting in line at these polls, and just overall cycling the economy, which is good. And then another thing I was going to remind you guys of is that in general, voting online hasn't worked that well in the past. Like, for example, Obamacare, it crashed like almost as soon as it was up, as well as it's just very insecure because of hackers and how easy it is to steal someone's information, or even just like use someone else's information like on a computer that's very easy to access. So that's just a couple of reminders for you guys. And now I'm going to go talk about some of the things that the affirmative said. The first thing I'm going to bring up is that they said that people die from driving to polls and from getting sick because they're standing next to people at the polls. And I would just like to say that is a very, very weak argument. And what I mean by this is that people die from driving anywhere, not just at polls. In fact, some of the most high-risk days to drive are national holidays like Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and the 4th of July. For example, just in 2019, 4th of July, 515 people died from car-related accidents. So it's not just, they mentioned earlier that like you're 18% more likely to get in a car accident from driving on election days because you're driving to polls. But if that's the case, then it should be like that for everything. For example, school. If that's the case, if we shouldn't have in-person voting because of the car accidents, then we also shouldn't go to school because people drive to school, therefore they're more susceptible to car accidents, therefore we should just have online school forever because it's safer that way. And the same thing goes for sicknesses as well. So like if you're very susceptible to getting sick from people standing in line at the polls, you're just as equally as likely wherever you are, whether it be school, whether it be at church or grocery shopping, wherever you're standing next to people or waiting in line, you'll be susceptible to that. And just at a poll, it has a it's very insignificant as far as the risk goes. Another thing I'd like to bring up that the affirmative argued was that they said that people who voted through mail, they didn't feel properly or fairly represented. But this, to me, makes absolutely no sense because their whole argument is to vote online, in which case the amount of representation you're getting from voting online or voting in mail is basically the same thing. You're getting the same amount of representation, so it makes no sense to even bring up that mail-in voting gives you no representation. So I think that is another very weak argument. And then the last thing I want to mention that the affirmative brought up was that mail-in voting was very inconvenient. That like when you get your ballot, you'd have to find a stamp, and then you'd also have to make sure you vote on the correct day. But this has actually changed. So nowadays they have, when you get your ballot, when you receive your ballot, it already comes with a stamp. So all you have to do is when you get your ballot, you have to open it, you have to vote, sign it, and mail it. Simple as that. You don't have to worry about when you're supposed to do it. I mean, you're supposed to, obviously you're supposed to vote before like the election's finished, but as soon as you get it, you don't have to worry about the stamp. It's already there. You just have to do everything and just simply put it in the mail. It is that easy. It is very convenient. So that is what I'd have to say about that. And that is my overall take on this argument.